Good morning, everyone. This is the Real Scottish Politics Live show with me, Ninian Wilson, one of the digital reporters at the National. We've got Steph Braun joining me here, one of our political reporters, and we're just going to go through and talk, as we always do, about the day's news. So I think, Steph, I think we should probably start with our front page and the main story that we were running at the moment, Johnson on the brink. There's really quite a lot of speculation and mounting pressure really on the Prime Minister's position. There seems to be the trickle has turned into a steady stream of letters into Sir Graham Brady and the 1922 committee. Speculation, one MP told the BBC that the number of letters could well likely be in the high 40s, maybe around 10 letters short of the 54 required to trigger a leadership vote. And some of the other figures that have been put out there, Sky News has reported that 24 letters have been publicly declared by MPs, with around about 35 publicly questioning the Prime Minister's position. But it seems like the Sue Great report really has taken a big chunk out of Johnson's stability and support in the House of Commons. It looks like he's in real danger.
Yeah, I think what's happening now is, a few more MPs have come on board and said, he's got to go since the report came out. And I think that as these things usually happen, more people will. You said that's, it's turned into a, quite a stream now. People will feel perhaps more confident to put out that they don't support Johnson as more and more people come on board. So the closer, we get to that, is it 54 letters?
54, yeah.
I think that he is in, much more significant danger than he was before. It's obviously questionable whether even that will be enough, because there are people saying there is no clear successor to Boris Johnson, which I've got to be honest, how can you possibly say that there is no clear successor to Boris Johnson? Anything surely would be better than the position that the government is currently in. They've been, he has deeply embarrassed the government and really damaged their record ahead of, we're about potentially 2 years from a general election. One could be held sooner, who knows? So I think that, people who are saying there's no clear successor is just maddening to me.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just think it's crazy because, the amount of things that he has done is not just Partygate, and the position that he's left the government in is just, surely anything would be better.
Yeah, I mean there was some polling I saw of Tory party members, and I think he's stone last in his approval ratings among party members. I think Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary, is top. But I mean, are there really likely? Is there someone maybe that's got that kind of like election? Has got that ability to kind of like rally people, Tories in England, around a common cause. I think that's what Tories are saying about Boris Johnson. I think that's what his supporters are saying, that he still has this ability to kind of bring people round. But whether that's actually true or not, I think at this point is it's very doubtful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next, we've also got we've got some other stories. I think, should we touch on Angus Robertson going to Brussels today, Steph?
Yeah, he's going over to Brussels today to speak with a number of MEPs and diplomats just about trying to strengthen Scotland's ties with the EU. Obviously, Nicola Sturgeon has mentioned Nicola Sturgeon has mentioned many times that she wants an independent Scotland, if that is going to be a thing in the future, to be part of the EU. So it's obviously within the SNP's interest to try and build up that relationship following Brexit. So we'll be keeping an eye on what Angus Robertson is up to in Belgium today. We've also got quite a key story in Kate Forbes' spending review, haven't we? Sorry, I've just lost Ninian there for a second. You're on mute, Ninian.
Sorry about that, guys. My mic was having some microphone issues there, but we're all good now. So yeah, Kate Forbes has got her spending review today, the first multi-year spending program since 2011, and it's come with basically some concerns we're getting raised about a budget gap that's somewhere around £3.5 billion. So looks like the line that's being put out quite in the papers is that there's some difficult decisions ahead. The IFS has said that it might be like things like axing, taxing, or things of that ilk. But I think it is quite a substantial story, this, because what's the gap is about 8% of the Scottish budget for the year 2026-27, which is really where the gap comes into question. So I think there's a lot of questions that Kate Forbes was probably going to have to face today. I think we'll need to wait and see. I think it's around about 2 p.m. in Holyrood that'll be kicking off. So we'll have more about that on the site later. But yeah, that's a huge story. It's not a budget, but it's worth saying. It is a look into. It's similar in description, but it is not a budget. It is a description of how it's an idea of how Scotland will strategise their public finances in the year to come, just to get the best bang for our buck for the taxpayer. But we'll find out more about that later today. Another thing on our front page is that obviously we've heard a lot about the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, which is upcoming this weekend. Tommy Sheppard of the SNP is on the Saturday, June 4th, is holding a rally for a Republican rally on Calton Hill in Edinburgh. I think it kicks off sometime in the afternoon. I can't actually quite remember what a specific time, but that's which is quite interesting because there's been a lot said about the Platinum Jubilee, and I think there's a lot of questions being raised about the future of the monarchy, particularly maybe in the not so long term. And I think now with just some of the hysteria that has been raised over this Platinum Jubilee, I think it's really sparking a lot of anti-monarchy sentiment, really. A lot of questions about the constitutional future of the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of hysteria around it. It can be, I think some people can find it far too much. There does seem to be a pressure as well that everyone needs to celebrate this. This is a key moment in for the UK, and I just hope that everybody marks it if they want to, and if they don't, that's fine too. Obviously, like you say, it has sparked a lot of anti-UK, anti-monarchy sentiment, and we can always rely on Tommy Sheppard to be one of those with a pretty extreme take on things. So that we've got that going on. The other sort of story we're going to be keeping an eye on throughout the next few days is waiting times at Edinburgh Airport, which have gotten really quite bad. People being warned of lengthy queues with surging demand for holidays this week. It's the half term, isn't it? Is that right?
Well, I something, I actually don't know if it's half term, but we obviously got long.
It's certainly half term in England, I know, but that's because that's where I've been this weekend.
Yeah, school holidays mean that's
I know it's one of these things that always creeps up on us as reporters. It's like you get to the Friday before, you're like, oh, it's or even the Monday of, and it's like it's half term this week.
Well, obviously we do have the bank holiday weekend for the Jubilee celebration. So I think it's been happening all over the UK. I think there was reports. I can't think it was Gatwick. of really lengthy delays and queues out the door. I know that there was really lengthy delays in Dublin Airport last week as well, I think. Obviously not in the UK, but and now it seems like the same thing's happening in Edinburgh. So just to all of our readers with travel plans over the weekend, maybe get there a little bit early just to make sure you get to wherever it is that you're going to escape all the madness over the weekend.
Yeah, I know transport is not a great thing right now because we've got all the problems of ScotRail as well.
Yeah.
I know the fans tomorrow night have been warned that they need to plan ahead with if you're heading to Hampden Park from anywhere, because the trains there's not many of them basically. With what's going on with the pay dispute just now with drivers, and you'll see on our website as well that we've reported recently on the comments recently from former Scotland legend Graham Souness, who came out yesterday and said that he wanted Ukraine to win against Scotland tomorrow night. Obviously, that will be the view of many neutrals, which I completely understand. But I'm not sure about Graham Souness, a national treasure, some would say, in Scotland, coming out with a comment like that. I've also just put out this morning that Douglas Chapman, one of the SNP MPs, was very much not happy about what he said. He said that I hope he's not on my Tartan Army bus. It's not been well received. I mean, we all massively sympathise with what is going on in Ukraine. There's no question about that, and it's going to be a really, really tricky affair tomorrow night. But I think that Scotland fans and Scotland players have got to put that aside for 90 minutes or more potentially, it's a football match, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sporting competition. I think if Ukraine go through, they'll have my full support. But up until that point, it's the best respect that you can give your opponent in any sporting competition is to try your absolute best and give it everything you've got, and that's really kind of the essence of the joy and competitive nature of sport. And otherwise, it doesn't mean as much. So
I think Ukraine will want Scotland to play as well. They want they want a contest. They want they don't want everything. Surely they don't want everything to be about what is going on at home. This is potentially an escape for them. So I think they'll want a good match.
Absolutely. The last thing that we'll touch on is that we have a column in our paper today by Alan Petrie of the Aberdeen Independence Movement. Obviously, a lot of our editorial team were up in Aberdeen for their conference, and as a Constitution geek, I actually really enjoyed it myself. Alan basically sets out the strategies around the sort of pitfalls of Boris Johnson not accepting a Section 30 order, a request for a Scottish independence referendum, the potential consequences of what would happen if they do, if he does accept it, if he doesn't, and just the pitfalls that he would face in either direction. If you want to know more about it, it's a really, really brilliant piece. You'll need to go onto our website and give that a look. Until then, just keep tuned to everything we've got. We've got lots of good stuff coming out today with lots of live events with Angus Roberts and Kate Forbes' spending review as well. So stay tuned and read the National. Cheers. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.